Do you want to wake up your morning every single morning just like a chef who has 7 Michelin stars in total? Well, today we're going to have a simple recipe. We're going to be making Gordon Ramsay scrambled eggs. Very simple, very quick recipe. With this, all you need is unsalted butter, creme fraiche, which is similar to sour cream or cream cheese, chives, which we have here, salt, pepper, which we're going to season a little bit later, not now. We'll get more in detail on that in a second. And toast, which I like, artisan bread. This is a farmer's bread, which I enjoy. So for utensils, very simple again. We're going to need a butter knife, cut our butter of course, a saucepan. With this, a little different, but this is how he cooks it, so that's how we're going to cook it. Sharp knife, cutting board, and a rubber spatula. Again, I'm going to go into details with that in a second. So first what we do is, let's turn on the oven for a second. We're going to crack 3 eggs into the pan. 3 eggs go in there. Now with that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Real quick, I just want to rinse my hands off. And now with that, we're just going to add to the stove. So before I cracked the eggs, I put my stove to medium to high heat. I have an electric stove, unfortunately. Every chef, every place that you would cook at would be a gas stove, which would make the process cook a lot quicker. And I'm just gonna do a self-timer for myself because this is about a 3-minute recipe, like I said. So on a gas stove, it would be 3 minutes. On an electric stove, a little bit longer. So what we're gonna do is just slightly mix the eggs, just constant stirring with that. We're just gonna mix the eggs and the butter up. Nothing more than that. And what I was saying before with the 30-second rule, 30-30, what he likes to say, like I said, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And with that, it allows the process not to overcook your eggs. So you get the perfect temperature for your eggs so they're just not so they're not dry pretty much what it comes down to. So now that we came up to our first 30, now we're gonna take that off. Now, as you can see, we're gonna a bit of a texture here. So actually the electric stove is working with me today. So as you can see, we still have a little bit of butter clumps, but that's okay because that's going to continue to cook and work. So now our 30 off just came up. So a little funny thing with this, Gordon Ramsay with the scrambled egg recipe, becomes very well known for it. Now every time he goes on TV shows as a guest or on YouTube shows, I even see this now, they always have him cook this recipe because it's a very easy recipe and quick, but it's very, very tasty, and this will change your morning. Just 5 minutes a day, like I said, you end up cooking like a chef. Now that we're reaching our next 30, so as you can see, we're having a nice texture there. What I'm gonna do is just keep mixing that, keep mixing that, keep mixing that. We're now gonna cut our bread. That's where the sharp knife will come in. Here's my artisan bread. Not a bad slice there. So for that, we're gonna use that as our plate pretty much. So we're gonna put our eggs when they're done on top of that toast. I have it on there. Now you can see now we're getting clumps into there. That's what we're looking for. So now we know the eggs are cooking just right. So very shortly we're gonna season the eggs. You're gonna season them with salt, pepper. Instead, the reason why we'd be using the rubber spatula here is just easier on the eggs. We're not beating them up or anything like that. We just want to have them slowly cook. So that back on the heat. So while that's happening, I'm just gonna talk about creme fraiche a little bit. Not a lot of people are familiar with it. Like I said, it's similar to sour cream cheese. The price on it is a little bit higher, but I think it's worth the price. For this right here, I paid about $7 roughly. You would have to get it in like a store like a local market. I went to ShopRite to look for it, and I never found it. So you would have to. So this is that's perfect what we're looking for at this point. So now that we had it on heat a little bit, we're gonna season it. So this is the time to see. There's my reminder. Let me know that we're at our 3 minutes. We're gonna salt. I like sea salt, black pepper. Any salt's fine with that. I just like the sea salt. But black pepper, you have to do black pepper, cracked black pepper. Again, we're perfect on that. So let me get my bread out. That's nice. We have our plate right there. And now what we're gonna do to end it, this is when you add your creme fraiche. That's when it comes into it. So we're adding about a teaspoon of the creme fraiche into it. All you need, and the reason for that, because the creme fraiche is chilled, so the creme fraiche immediately helps stop and slow down the cooking process of the eggs. So now, because what's kind of crazy is, even if we took this off heat now, if we didn't add the creme fraiche, the egg would continue to cook because of the low temperature that it needed for them to cook. So just let that mix. So as we do that, we're gonna cut chives down. Sharp knife, this is the knife I like to use. All you do is you're gonna do a push-pull movement for this. That's, again, the method I like to do. Gets the job done. And you're gonna cut very, very thin slices. I'll show you here how thin. About that, that's what you're looking for. So like 1/3 of an inch, if that, 1/4 of an inch. So now that the eggs are done, that's what we're looking for. You may think they're undercooked, they're not undercooked at all. I promise you on that. Put that all on top of that. Now you're gonna just garnish. That's all you do to finish this off. With that, you just add the chives. The chives have a similar taste profile to, I would say, like onions almost. And this is what your finished product should look like. So now every morning, you can start your morning off like I said, 7-star Michelin chef, and say, hey, tell a couple friends, I made a chef dinner or breakfast today.